Hello everyone, welcome back to another tutorial. It's your girl Berna. Today we are going to be looking at how to make this very beautiful bralette with a dramatic ruffle. If this is something you're interested in, please stick around and do subscribe to my channel. Do share with anybody you think would also love this. So grab some materials as I'm going to show you, and let's get started. So for this we are going to be using medium weight yarn, and I'll be doubling my strand. You'll need at least 3 pairs of this robin acrylic yarn. If you want something extra dramatic, I would advise you have at least 3 pairs or 3 balls of any medium weight yarn, because the ruffle takes the most yarn, so make sure you have enough yarn. We'll need stitch markers, very many of these, they'll be essential. I'll be working with a 2.5mm crochet hook. You will need a pair of scissors and a measuring tape, as well as a darning needle. So for this you will need to take your cup measurement as you see me do here. Make sure that you're putting on a very good bra as you do this. Take the tape measure and place it from the top of your breast to where your boob ends, sort of like to the under bust. So make sure you get your cup measurement first, and mine is 6 as you see here. We are going to be working these cups for our bra first, which is why I emphasize to take your cup measurement. And as you saw me previously measure, mine is 6, so make sure that the measurement you got is equivalent to what you have after crocheting your first cup. So mine is measuring 6 inches, as you can see. So we're going to start off by making this, and I already made one, as well as with a pickled edging as you see here. That is completely optional, but I just added it there for some beauty and drama. It's not a must have it. So shall need 2 of these cups. So I already made one, and we are going to go ahead and see how to do that, so don't worry. Grab your materials and let's make our first cup. So to begin, as I said, I'll be doubling my strand. You're going to make a slip knot, and you'll grab your hook, and we are going to make a foundation chain that is half of the cup measurement that you've just gotten. So mine was 6, so I'm going to make a chain that is half of 6, so my chain is going to be a measurement of 3 inches, and for me 15 chains were able to give me the 3 inches, which is half of my cup. So to that chain, you're going to hold on to your last chain and add 3 more. 1, 2, and 3. And then we are going to skip those 3 and go into the 4th chain from the hook with 1 double crochet. Double crochet into the next stitch, into the next, make a double crochet, double crochet into the next, so you're going to go into each and every chain stitch with 1 double crochet until you have only 1 stitch left, because there we shall be working something different. So keep on going until you reach your final stitch. Just place 1 double crochet into each and every chain. So I'm at the end and I have only 1 chain stitch left after working 1 double crochet into each stitch. So into that last chain stitch we are going to place a total of 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. You're going to chain 1 and you place 3 more double crochets into the exact same space. That's 1, 2, and 3. So you have 3 double crochets, chain 1 and 3 double crochets into the last stitch. And now we are going to proceed to work on the opposite side of from where we worked, coming back to the beginning. So if that makes sense, you're going to just go to the opposite side, and what I like to do is to crochet over that strand from the beginning of our row, but this is not a must because I just don't want to have to weave it in at the end. So you can also weave it in at the end if you want, but I'm just going to work over it. So you're going to work your initial chains number of stitches that you had. Mine were 15, so make sure as you're working back to the opposite side you have the exact number of chain stitches that you had, or the number of double crochets you had. Just hold on to that strand as you work, so that you don't have to weave it in later. It's just going to be weaved in as you work. So just double crochet on the opposite side into each and every stitch, placing 1 double crochet only. So I'm at the end. As you can see, I still have that chain 3. You realize, yeah, when you're done with your chain stitches you have something like that, but the cap will not be looking straight at the bottom. So you make sure you go into that chain 3 stitch from the beginning with also 1 double crochet, as it helps us to keep the edge of the cap straight. So you have something like that. Make sure you go into the last chain 3 at the end. So for the second row of the cap, you will chain 3 and turn. The chain 3 will be considered as a stitch, meaning we don't have to work into the very first stitch we see, otherwise we'll be increasing. So just go into the next stitch, not increase but go into the next stitch and into each and every other stitch with 1 double crochet. Make 1 double crochet into each stitch until you reach the top where we had made the chain 1, and I'll meet you. So when you reach the chain 1 space from the previous row, you should have something like that. Into that chain 1 space this time we're only going to make a total of 2 double crochets. Chain 1 followed by 2 more double crochets. And that's how we shall always be working the tip of the cap. 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 2 double crochets, and then now we can proceed to go back to 1 stitch into 1 double crochet into each and every stitch below. So once again we're at the end, make a double crochet, and lastly another double crochet into the chain 3 from the previous row, so as to keep the base straight. Find the top of the chain 3 and work a double crochet in there. So that's it for the second row of the cap, and I'll go ahead and snip off this strand that we worked over because I don't need it anymore. It was worked over, so we can as well cut it away. So you should have something like this. Those are 2 rows, so you're going to continue repeating this all the way till you build your cap to the measurement which you took. So mine was 6. If yours is 8 or 7, make sure you work a number of rows, and by this number of rows I mean you will count them from the chain 1 spaces. Okay, count the chain 1 spaces. So I mean that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. That's how I'm counting the rows that are building the cap as we go upwards. So mine was 6, so make sure that you continue to build it in that manner till you get to your cap measurement. So one last demonstration, chain 3, turn, the chain 3 counts as a double crochet. So I'll go into the next stitch with a double crochet, 1 double crochet into each and every stitch, keep doing that until you get to the chain 1 space. So I'm at the chain 1 space at the top, so I'll make 2 double crochets, 1, 2, chain 1 followed by 2 more double crochets into the chain 1 space, and then we'll go back to the usual double crochets. So you keep doing that, repeat that row all the way till you manage to get your cap measurement. So I'm back and I'm through with the 6 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So that is my cap measurement, and the next thing that we're going to do is now to work on this picot edging, as you see, which is completely optional, but I'm going to show you either way how it's done if you would like to do it, just to add some beauty to the edge. So from where you ended, you're just going to chain 1 and turn your work, and into that first chain stitch you're going to make a single crochet, chain up 3, slip stitch at the base of the single crochet, and then single crochet into the next stitch to lock that picot. So that's how our picots will be looking like. So single crochet into the next, double crochet, chain 3, slip stitch at the base of the single crochet, and then single crochet into the next stitch to lock the picot. That's how I kind of call that motion. You lock it by single crochet into the next. So single crochet into the next, chain 3, slip stitch at the base right there, single crochet into the next to lock the picot. I believe now you get the motion. Single crochet, chain 3, slip stitch at the base, single crochet into the next to lock, single crochet into the next, chain 3, slip stitch at the base of the single crochet, single crochet in the next. So that second single crochet basically locks the previous picot, so make sure you don't skip that step. After making the picot, single crochet into the next to lock, then you start a new picot by single crocheting into the next stitch. I hope that makes sense. Slip stitch at the base, single crochet into the next, single crochet into the next stitch, chain 3, slip stitch at the base of the first single crochet to lock in the next stitch, single crochet, chain 3, and yeah, you'll keep building your picot all the way around, picot edging all the way from where you ended to the top to the side till you come back to the bottom. Completely optional, but I feel it's really a beautiful way to finish the edging of the bra cap. So keep going and I'll meet you when you are through with that edging. So I went all around and I'm through with the edging for the whole bra cap. And when I reached the end, I did not snip off the yarn because when you're done with your second cap, make sure you do not snip off, because when we proceed to join, we'll be needing that strand that we ended with. So you're going to work 2 of these, but make sure when you're done with your second cap, you do not snip off your yarn when you're done. Don't cut it off and just leave it because you're going to use it to join the caps together. So you should have 2 identical bra caps right now, and it's now time for us to do the joining in the middle of these caps. So I'm going to get these caps, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to place them right sides facing. I'll first of all chain 1 from where I ended and turn to my right side, and then I will get the other cap and also turn it to the right side and place the right sides together, and I'll go from one edge of the cap to the other cap, and I'm going to make a slip stitch to join them, and then I'll also make a chain 1 afterwards to make it even more firm. So just make sure it's firm, and before you cut, I always advise you confirm that everything is looking straight. Confirm that the caps are well aligned at the bottom, they are not crooked after you have joined them. So as you can see, mine are looking straight. Yours should also be looking something like this. They shouldn't be tilting towards one side or one maybe facing upwards. You should have something looking like that. So when you're satisfied with the results, you can go ahead now and cut off this strand, since you already chained 1, and then you'll pull through. And even you can now go ahead to make a knot because we want this area to be extra firm. So make a knot, a double knot, or even triple as I'm doing. And then finally we can get rid of the strand, cut it. So that's it for our bra cups. 2 identical bra cups. It should look something like that. So now that that is done, we are going to take a measurement across these cups at the bottom, because we'll be needing that measurement for making our ruffle. So you're going to place these cups down and take a measurement across from one cup to the other cup at the bottom. So mine gives me 12 inches. Okay, so make sure you note down that figure somewhere, because we are going to be needing it to attach the ruffle at the bottom later. So go ahead and make your 2 cups as I've shown you. Work one, work the edging, join them as I've shown you, and then I'll be back to show you how to go about the bottom, where we shall be making our ruffle, our dramatic ruffle. Alright guys, so I believe by now you're done with your cups, and we took that measurement earlier on. Mine was 12, so we won't put these cups aside because right now we will not be needing them. So put them aside, and you're going to add 6 inches to that measurement that you got. So mine was 12, so I'll be adding 6 inches to the 12, and our foundation chain is going to be a measurement equivalent to, it's going to be equal to the measurement across. The number of chains will be equivalent to 18 inches for my case, because I added 12 to 6. So you're going to make a foundation chain for your ruffle, but make sure this foundation chain is a multiple of 7, equivalent to the measurement you took plus 6, but a multiple of 7, because this pattern for the ruffle works best in multiples of 7. So continue with that, and I'll meet you after you're done with your chain. So I'm through with my chain, and I made a chain of 105, equivalent to my 18 inches, because I had 12 inches plus 6, that is 18. Make sure also this measurement, this chain is not stretched. Make sure the chain is straight and not stretched in any way as you measure it. So 105 for me. Make sure each chain is a multiple of 7, and I'll show you now how to work the pattern for the ruffle. So after you're done with your multiple of 7, you're going to add 5 more chains to that chain you made. Just add 5 more, and then we are going to skip 4 chains. So skip 4, and into the 5th we are going to work 1 double crochet like that. Chain up 2, and you're going to skip 6 stitches. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5 and 6, and into the next you're going to go in there with a double crochet, just 1 double crochet, chain up 3, and then another double crochet into that same stitch. You have something like a V chain 2, we're going to skip another 6 stitches. 1 2 3 4 5 6, and into the next you're going to work a double crochet, chain 3, and another double crochet into the same stitch, chain 2, skip 6, and into the next you're going to make a double crochet, chain 3, and another double crochet. So that's some sort of like a V pattern we are working. You're going to repeat that all the way, chain 2, skip 6, and then a double crochet, chain 3, and another double crochet into that same chain stitch, chain 2, skip 6, 1 2 3 4 5 6, into the next work a double crochet, chain up 3, and another double crochet. So this is going to be the pattern repeat till the end, and when you reach the end you should have only 1 stitch left after skipping your final 6. Make sure you only have 1 stitch left. If not, that means you have to cross check your chain again. Maybe it was not a multiple of 7, or you did some miscounting, but at the end you should have only 1 stitch after counting or skipping your last 6. So repeat this pattern, it will appear like some sort of V's. Chain 2, skip 6, 1 2 3 4 5 6, into the next work a double crochet, chain up 3, and another double crochet. Yeah, keep working like that, and I'll meet you back after. So I'm back and I have my final 6, which I'm going to skip over, and then I'll go into the last stitch with a double crochet, chain up 1, and then lastly another double crochet. So this is what row 1 should look like over a ruffle. We have some sort of V pattern going on there. So for row 2 we are going to chain up 3 and turn our work, and this is going to be a solid row of double crochet. So in that first V you're going to work a total of 3 double crochets, 2 and 3. Into the next V you're going to work 8 double crochets. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 8. So we started with 3 double crochets. Into the next we are going to put 8, and we are going to work a total of 8 double crochets into every other V. So it's only in the first that we work 3, but into each of the next V-like stitches or the former chain 3 spaces we are going to work 8 double crochets. So 3 4 5 6 7 and 8. Into the next V or chain 3 space work 8 double crochets. 8 into the next. So keep working your 8 double crochets into each and every chain 3 space from below, and I'll meet you back at the end, show you how we shall be concluding these solid rows of double crochets. Alright guys, so I'm done, and I went around with 8 double crochets, and when you reach the final space, that former chain 1 space or that last V, you'll always be ending with only 5 double crochets into that chain space. 2, 3, 4 and 5. So that row that we call our solid row, always start with 3 double crochets and we'll end with 5 double crochets. So next we are going to go back to the V-stitch row, and for the V-stitch row we shall always be starting with a chain of 4. So chain 4, turn your work, and we are going to work a V into the very first stitch that we are looking at. So just make a double crochet, because we always start with a double crochet, chain 1 and a double crochet. So you're going to chain 2, skip 4 stitches and jump into that space right there with a double crochet, chain 3 and another double crochet like that. Chain 2, skip 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and into the middle of those 4 stitches you're going to place another V, which is double crochet, chain 3, and another double crochet into that same space in the middle right there. Chain 2, skip 4 stitches, that takes us into that space right there. So double crochet excuse me, chain up 3 and another double crochet. So we are basically using chain 2 spaces to separate these V's and skipping 4 stitches in between. Just follow what I'm demonstrating here, because that is the pattern repeat. Skip 4, make a V, double crochet, chain 3 and another double crochet, chain 2, skip 4, make a V, double crochet, chain 3 followed by a double crochet into the same space, chain 2, skip 4 into the middle of those 4 stitches, make a double crochet, chain 3 and another double crochet into the middle there. So I think by now you get the hang of the pattern. These stitches after 4 stitches separated by a chain 2. So you're going to keep on repeating this, chain 2 and skip 4 stitches, go into the middle of the 4 stitches with double crochet, chain 3 and double crochet to the same space. So keep working that pattern all the way, and I'll meet you back at the end to show you how we shall be concluding the V-stitch rows once again. So I've gone all around with that V-stitch row. It looks something like that. So when you reach the end, you skip over those 3 stitches, 3 double crochets. You're going to chain up 2, and then you're going to go into the last chain 3 there with just 1 double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet into that last chain 3 stitch. So for the V-stitch row, we always begin with a chain of 4, which counts as 1 double crochet followed by a chain 1. The chain 3 is 1 double crochet, then the chain 1, that's another double crochet, which means the start and the end are exactly the same. 1 double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. So that's basically what we are going to keep on repeating. You keep alternating these 2 rows, V-stitch row followed by a solid row, V-stitch row followed by a solid row of double crochets. The solid rows, I mean the ones that have the 8 double crochets and all that. So it's just going to be an alternation of these rows till we get the height of the ruffle that we want. So I'm just going to show you one last time, and then I believe you can be able to carry on with the pattern. So whenever we are going to our solid row, we shall always be starting off with a chain of, for these stitch rows we have a turning chain of 4, and the solid rows have a turning chain of 3. So since we are going to the solid row, I'll chain up 3 and turn. So whenever you chain the 3, you always have to begin with a total of 3 doubles only at the start. And then you carry on placing 8 double crochets into each and every V-stitch. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 8 into the next, into the next. We place 8 double crochets, and you keep on going. When you reach the end, you place a total of 5 double crochets, 5 double crochets into the last V. So I'm at the end and I've finished placing 5 double crochets into the last V. And now I'll show you the V-stitch row one more time. So I said we shall always be starting it with a chain of 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, which counts as a double crochet and a chain 1. So you'll go into the first stitch. You go into the first stitch with 1 double crochet, chain 2, skip 4 stitches, and into the space you're going to place a double crochet, chain 3, another double crochet, chain 2, skip 4 stitches, into the middle of the 4 place a double crochet, chain 3, and another double crochet, chain 2, skip 4, to the space make a V, double crochet, chain 3, another double crochet, chain 2, skip 4, to the space make a double crochet, chain 3, another double crochet. So feel free to rewind the video if I heard you're still confused. Go back and see how I did the first V row and the solid row. In fact, that I think the second one and the third V row, if that makes sense. You can rewind it slightly and see how I worked those. So you keep on alternating these rows till you get to the height of the ruffle that you need. Okay, alternate the V stitch and the solid row of the double crochets, keeping in mind that the work will keep on growing bigger. The more rows you make, since we are making some sort of increases, it gets more and more big as you go. But at the same time, I feel it still looks beautiful even if it grows bigger. So make it as dramatic as you would like, as many rows as you would like, and I'll be back to show you how many rows I worked for mine. Okay, basically just alternate those rows. I hope I'm clear on that. V solid, V solid, V solid. So next is going to be a V, then a solid, like that. So let's meet after you're done with your ruffle and we shall see what to do next. So I'm back and I worked a total of 7 rows for mine. As you can see how ruffled it looks like. You can make as many 10, 8, 7, it's all up to you. So let's go ahead and see how to attach this now to our bra cups. Alright, so I've reintroduced the cups and it's now time for us to join this ruffle to them. And this is the time you'll grab your stitch markers because now we're going to be using them as well as our tapestry needle. So after you've grabbed those materials, now you're going to determine the right side of the ruffle. Sorry, before you do that, you're going to first determine the midpoint of this ruffle detail. So just fold it in half as you've seen me do and place a stitch marker to the middle point after you folded it in half, because we are trying to determine the midpoint. So just place a stitch marker right there, and now you're going to determine the right side. Determine where you would want your right side to be for both the ruffle and the cups. So grab the right side as well of the cups and you're going to put the right sides together. Just hold them like that and put the right sides onto the right sides. So I'm going to go ahead and also reattach this stitch marker. Make sure I don't lose that midpoint as we are going to attach the middle of the ruffle to the middle of the cups. So just adjust, remove it a little bit and adjust it so that you're able to also fasten it on the cups if you have to. So having marked the middle points of both the cup and the ruffle, now it's time for me to also attach the other parts of the ruffle onto the bra cups. So just use your stitch markers. That's why I said we needed many of them. So you're just going to use them to attach these two details together, the cups and the ruffle. And of course this leaves us with some excess at the side, which is perfectly fine because that's the design of our top. Attach as many stitch markers, but just make sure you always attach also in the where the cup ends, the end of the cup, the middle, and what matter most. Just attach as many stitch markers as you feel comfortable attaching, but make sure the middle and the sides of the cups are well attached to the ruffle. Make sure you also fasten the edge properly, the end of the cup to the ruffle, just to get a stitch marker. That didn't look very firm, so I'm just going to fasten it again. So you should have something like that. Make sure the stitch markers are firm. If you have to add some, go ahead, just that I have not attached this end firmly, so I'm also adding a stitch marker. So you should have something like that. We are now going to seam these two together. So go ahead and grab your tapestry needle and let us do the joining. So I've threaded my tapestry needle with a double strand, and it's time for us now to start whip stitching the ruffle onto the cup. So onto the cups, so I'm going to do away with that first stitch marker and going to where the first edge of the bra cup is. I will thread my needle through, and usually I think if you've watched most of my videos, you realize how we usually go about this. Whenever we thread through first, we go back again into the same stitch and pull through again, so that we can get some sort of knot that we tie. So leave like a loop and then go back into it so that we can get a knot. And that way we are sure that everything is firm. And now we can go ahead and whip stitch as normally as we do. Feel free to also use a single crochet or whatever works best for you in the joining process. Single crochet or slip stitch can also be other alternatives if you don't have a darning needle. So just whip stitch and keep removing the stitch markers when you reach them. we're going to carry on that same manner with stitching. Keeping in mind that you shouldn't remove this middle stitch mark until you've gotten to the midsection, because we need that section to balance out properly. So keep going till you reach the end, but don't remove the middle stitch mark and also the stitch mark at the end, because those 2 points have to balance out properly. So take your time and whip stitch this. So keep going, but I'll meet you when you're done with that. Alright guys, so I've done stitching the ruffle onto the cups, and this is how your work should look like. When I reached the end, I was able to go through that last stitch twice, and then I got a knot, a loop, and then I fastened off just like we did at the beginning. And yeah, I can go ahead now and snip off that because I tightened it with a knot. This is how our bralette is looking like so far. This is the wrong side where we have the seam line, and I'm also going to go ahead and fasten off that thread from the beginning. Cut real close to it. So when you turn this over, you shall have something like that. I think you can see how beautiful it looks. The ruffle is now well attached to our cups, and we are literally halfway through now, and all that's left now is for us to work our straps that are going to be tying around the neck as well as also at the back. Okay, so let us go ahead and now work on our straps. Yeah, so grab your yarn and your hook and let's work on the straps. Okay, so for the strap, you're going to make a slip knot. And you're going to, I'm going to go in the middle of these 2 picot stitches because I want the strap to sprout out from the middle of them to create a nice balance. So I'll just insert my hook into the middle of those picots at the top and pull through and chain 1. So for my straps that are going to tie around the neck, I've decided to just work simple chains because I don't want something so thick since I want to insert some beads afterwards, but you can go ahead and make them thicker if you want. There are so many ways of doing straps, but I'm just using the easier way because I want to attach some beads after. So I'm going to make a simple chain of just 100. Okay, so I'm done making my straps at the top of the cups, which are 100 chains of each. That that's how they look like. So I'm now going to make sure if you want to attach some beads, you do not cut those threads at the top. So I'm not going to leave them in right now. I'll just leave them as is because they'll be of help to me later when I'm passing my beads through. Okay, so next we are going to work the ones that are going to tie around at the back. So you're just going to turn over to your bralette to the wrong side and just sort of fold it as if it were going to tie around. So I have a total of 3 chain spaces. So I'm going to be working my strap into that third chain space, that is the last towards the back. I don't know if that makes sense. Just count the number of chain spaces and then you can balance them out and work your strap into the very last chain space from the ones we made from the foundation. So make your slip knot and you're going to insert it into the, you can either go into the stitch or the space at the corner there, but for me I'll go into the space. So go into the space with your yarn and chain 1. So I'm going to work the straps a little different from the ones at the top. So you're going to chain 2 more since I already chained 1. Those are 3 chains. So chain 3 and then double crochet back into that same space. Chain 3, double crochet into the same space. Chain 3, double crochet into that space below. Chain 3, double crochet to the space below. Chain 3 and double crochet into that space below. Chain 3, double crochet into the space below. So that's how I've decided to work the straps at the back. So these are actually way stronger compared to those at the top, so feel free to be creative with these straps depending on your desired effect. So for these I'm going to make a total of 45 segments or loops, those loops that you're looking at. I'm going to make a total of 45, but feel free to make as many as you'd feel comfortable with to sort of give you a strap that you feel can tie around you. And for me I'm just going to make 45 of those segments or loops, and then when I'm done I'll go to the opposite side of the cup, sorry, not of the cup but of the ruffle, and I'll still determine where those 3 chain spaces are stemming from the corner. When I've folded it I'll determine where the last chain space from the foundation ends, and then I will attach my strap in the same manner with the same number of segments as when I'm working. So basically continue like that, and I'll be back to show you how we shall make the finishing touches now. Alright, so I'm back and I worked the loops for the back and also went ahead to attach some pearls at the top of one strap at the top of the bra cups, and I wanted to just demonstrate for those of you who wanted to attach some beads of pearls. I want to show you how I do that. So first I'm going to fasten off the loose strands at the bottom. Don't cut the ones at the top, only the ones at the bottom. Make sure you have that strand because it will help you when you're trying to put the beads through. Makes it easier. So don't cut it, and then you're going to grab something like this. It's like a thin wire of some sort. I don't know what to call it, but it was given to me at my craft store when I bought my beads. It basically helps like when you're inserting your beads or your pearls. So I have these pearls on me, and they're the ones I'm going to be using today. So with that strand, you're going to open this wire and put it over these strands that you have at the top, like that. Just pass it through them, and you're going to grab your beads. Sorry, my camera did not record that first moment of inserting that pearl, but I'm going to show you with the second one. Please make sure you just go bead per bead. Don't go inserting all the beads at once. Go one bead at a time. So push it through the wire and then down it goes. But I know sometimes it can get a little bit hard, but just take your time and push it through until it goes to the bottom of the chain. And we can go ahead and do away with this thin wire. And now that the pearls have gone through, we can now just slide them downwards till they reach the top of the cup. And that's how I insert my beads or my pearls to my projects. Okay, so now that that is done, I can go ahead now to get rid of these strands at the top. So I'm just going to double knot them. After that, I'm going to just cut. I'll also double knot those on the other strap. That's basically all, guys, for our bralette. You can go ahead and weave in any other loose strands that you have. Weave them in or double knot them. Just make sure you get a clean look at the end of the day. I'm going to be attaching some images at the end on how this finally came out, and do subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching. Cannot wait to see you in another video. Feel free to comment what else you would like to see me create, and take care, and I'll see you in another video. Bye, guys.